Rain blurred the windshield as Callum Veron eased his black sedan down a narrow, unlit street on the edge of the city. The billionaire CEO, known for building empires and demolishing competition, hadn't meant to be here. He'd just left another hollow charity gala, another night of fake smiles, when his car's GPS malfunctioned and rerouted him through a part of town he'd never seen before. Under the buzzing glow of a broken street lamp, a frail figure darted into the road. Callum slammed the brakes, heart pounding, as a man and a little girl froze in front of him like cornered deer. The man clutched her close, shielding her with his own body, fear burning in his eyes. Callum threw the car in park and stepped out slowly, raising his hands. "Hey," he said gently. "It's okay." The girl, no more than 7, sobbed into the man's chest. "Don't hurt us. Please, don't hurt us." Her tiny voice stabbed through Callum's chest. People didn't usually cry around him. They feared him, yes, but they didn't cry. And certainly not like this. "I'm not here to hurt you," Callum said, taking cautious steps forward. "Are you two okay?" The man's name, as Callum would soon learn, was Elias Ward. His daughter was named Marin. They'd been living in their car for weeks after Elias lost his construction job and their landlord tossed them out. Marin hadn't eaten all day. Callum offered them his car to warm up, but Elias refused. "We'll be fine," he muttered, pulling Marin closer. "People like you don't stop for people like us." That sentence landed like a punch. Callum, who had everything, suddenly felt small. "Look, I just want to help," he said, softer this time. After a long pause, Elias reluctantly allowed Marin to sit in the back seat while Callum drove them to a diner still open past midnight. Marin's wide eyes studied Callum as she devoured a grilled cheese sandwich and hot chocolate. At one point, she whispered, "Why are you being nice to us?" Callum had no good answer. He'd given millions to charities that meant nothing to him. But sitting here, watching a little girl smile through tears as she tasted real food for the first time in days, this felt like the first true act of kindness he'd done in years. When Elias excused himself to wash up, Callum leaned closer to Marin and asked, "What do you wish for if you could have anything?" She hesitated, clutching the crust of her sandwich like a treasure. "I wish Daddy wasn't sad anymore." Something inside Callum cracked wide open. He'd come from nothing once, too, but he'd forgotten what it was like to feel helpless, forgotten by the world. Callum drove them back to the car they were sleeping in, pressing a folded stack of bills into Elias's hand. "It's just for tonight," Callum insisted when Elias protested. "Get a hotel. Let her sleep in a real bed." As Callum drove away, Marin pressed her tiny hand to the window. He didn't see it, but he felt it. That night, Callum couldn't sleep. The little girl's terrified words haunted him. "Don't hurt us." He wondered what kind of world made a child expect harm from a stranger offering help, and what kind of man he'd become, so out of touch that he didn't know people like Elias even existed anymore. The next morning, Callum tracked them down, not to check if they'd used the money, but because he couldn't shake the feeling that a one-time handout wasn't enough. He spotted their car parked behind a shuttered store, frost glinting on the windshield. Marin was curled up under a thin blanket, her lips pale from the cold. Callum tapped gently on the glass. Elias woke with a start, ready to defend his daughter. But when he saw Callum holding coffee, breakfast, and a small bag of clothes, his shoulders sagged. "Why are you doing this?" Elias asked warily. Callum didn't answer directly. "Let me take you somewhere," he said. They ended up at a modest motel. Callum paid for a week up front. Marin squealed when she saw the TV and soft bed, throwing herself into the pillows. For the first time, Elias's eyes glistened, not with fear, but with something dangerously close to hope. Over the next several days, Callum visited after work. He brought food, toys, even arranged an interview for Elias with a friend who owned a small construction firm. But he also just sat with them, listened, laughed, something he hadn't done in far too long. On the last day of the motel stay, Callum arrived early to find Elias dressed in clean clothes, ready for his interview. Marin was braiding her doll's hair. "Wish Daddy luck," she grinned. Hours later, Elias returned. He'd gotten the job. They'd start with day labor, but it was steady pay. Callum congratulated him, but Elias shook his head. "This isn't just about work," Elias said. "You treated us like people. Nobody's done that in a long time." That night, they shared takeout in the motel room. As Marin fell asleep on the bed, Elias whispered, "I don't know how to thank you." Callum finally spoke the truth. "You already did. Your little girl. She reminded me what matters."